Welcome to the City of Greenville's Financial Transparency Platform. This site is designed to help you understand the city's sources of funding and how such funding is used to serve the citizens of our community. When you visit the site for the first time, you will be greeted by this welcome screen. There are two menus linked to the welcome screen: a how-to guide that provides a navigational overview of the platform, and a Budget 101 guide to provide a short guide to multi-fund accounting. You can click Get Started to dismiss the welcome screen and skip directly to the transparency platform. Users will only be greeted with the welcome screen the first time they visit the site. However, users can display the welcome screen at any time while visiting the site by clicking on the Help function located at the top right corner of the page. By clicking on the Help function, a drop-down box appears where the user can select from one of three options: the How-To Guide, the Welcome Screen, or Multi-Fund Accounting 101. The Help function also provides the option of contacting the city with any questions you may have. When you enter the transparency platform, you will see a preset list of frequently asked questions on the left-hand side of the screen under the Views tab. You can click on any one of these questions to display in graphical form the information related to the question being asked. The transparency platform defaults to the following question: overall, what are the city's revenues and expenses? The answer to this question will be displayed in the form of a bar graph. Examples of other questions the user can choose from include: what are the city's total revenues by fund? What are the expenses for the police department by division? And what are the expenses for the sanitation fund? Note that the current question being displayed is highlighted to the left of the screen under Views. When you hover your mouse over any data point on the graph, a tooltip will pop out with detailed data. In addition, you can click your mouse on any region of the graph to learn more about the spending. For example, the current bar graph is displaying the budget and actual expenses for the sanitation fund for fiscal year 2015-16 and the current fiscal year 2016-17. Each bar displays the expenses by the following expense types: operating, personnel, capital, and other financing uses. You can click on any section of the graph to further break down the expenses for that particular expense type. In this example, when you click on personnel expenses, the personnel expenses for each year are broken down into various subcategories such as salaries, health insurance, FICA expense, and more. At any time, the user can return to the previous screen by pressing the Back button, the top left of the page. In addition, the user can return back to the default screen at any time by pressing the Reset button. The transparency platform allows for information to be displayed in various graphical forms. Users can toggle between the different graphical formats by clicking on the icons in the upper right-hand corner. You can display a percentage graph, a stacked graph, a line graph, a pie graph, or the bar graph. When a pie graph is selected, there is a scroll bar directly underneath the pie graph that users can use their mouse to slide left or right to view the various different reporting periods. The transparency platform is primarily designed to present data in a graphical format. However, users can display the data in the form of a table. For example, let us click on the following question under the Views tab. What is the amount of the general fund spending for all departments? A pie graph is shown when you click on this question. If you use your mouse to scroll down the screen, you will find the information from the pie graph displayed in a table format. The platform also allows the user to view and distribute information within various applications and social media outlets. At the top right of your screen is a Share button. When you click on the Share button, a drop-down box will appear with various options for the user to view and distribute the information. Users can share the information on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, or send the information through an email. Users also have the option to download both the graphical image and the table as a PNG file, or download the table into a spreadsheet application such as Excel. One of the most advanced features of the transparency platform is its filtering tool that allows the user to analyze data across many different criteria. For example, let us click on the following question under the Views tab. What are the expenses for the police department by division? A bar graph will be shown that stacks the expenses for the police department by division for each respective reporting period. When we click on the Investigations Division section of the bar graph, the operating expenses for the Investigations Division is highlighted. It's broken down in a separate graph. However, the user may wish to view the operating expenses for the Investigation Division by expense type so as to see what portion of the division's expenses are dedicated to personnel and/or operations. To do this, the user can click on the Filters tab at the top left of the screen. From here, the user will have a variety of options to further filter and define the information that they want to analyze. There are 3 separate categories under the Filter tab: Show, Broken Down By, and Filtered By. When you click on the Show button, a drop-down button displays with 3 options: Show Expenses, Revenues, or Revenues versus Expenses. The user can select any one of the 3 options and the graph will adjust accordingly. When you click on the Broken Down By button, the following options are displayed: broken down by funds, broken down by functions, broken down by departments, broken down by projects, or broken down by expense type. Departments is highlighted in green in the drop-down box, indicating that expenses by department and division are currently being displayed in the graph. In our example, we would like to see the expenses for the Investigations Division broken down by expense type. To do this, the user would select Expense Type from the drop-down box. The bar graph is now displaying expenses for the Investigation Division segregated by the expense types Personnel and Operating. The user can continue to drill down to the next level by clicking on an area of the graph. When we click on Personnel, the personnel expenses for the Investigations Division will be broken down into each expense type composing personnel expense such as regular salaries, health insurance, FICA expense, retirement, 401k, and allowances. The Filter By section will allow the user to further break down the information displayed in the graph by fund, function, department, project, or expense type. The Filters tab is a powerful tool that can be used to create and customize reports based on the information the user desires to view. Another example can be used to demonstrate this. Let's say you want to know the city's total revenue budget by fund and the amount that the city has budgeted as sales tax revenues in the general fund. In this example, the user would first click on the Reset to start from the beginning. The user would then click on the Filters tab. Next, the user would click on the Show button and select Revenues. Since we first want to look at total revenues by fund, we would click on the Broken Down By and select Funds. We are now viewing the city's revenues in a bar graph format broken down by fund. Hovering over each section of the bar graph will provide a pop-up window that summarizes the amount of that particular section. To view the revenues by fund in a pie graph, we would click our mouse on the pie chart icon in the upper right-hand corner. What is now displayed are fiscal year 2016-17 actual revenues through the month of July, which is the first month of the new fiscal year. To view budget revenues for fiscal year 2016-17, we would position our mouse on the slide bar just below the pie graph and move the bar over to the left. Now, fiscal year 2016-17 budget revenues are displayed in the pie graph. As we can see, the largest component of the city's revenues are found in the general fund. To find out more about the general fund's revenues, we would just click our mouse on that section of the pie chart. The general fund also includes the POW bill fund, which is segregated within the pie graph. Remember, in our original question, we wanted to see what portion of the general fund revenues were budgeted as sales tax revenues. To move closer to this answer, we can click on the Broken Down By button and select Revenue Type. We are now viewing the general fund revenue budget for fiscal year 2016-17 broken down by revenue type. The largest component of revenue in the general fund is tax revenue. To find out more information about budgeted tax revenues, just click on that section of the graph. We are now viewing budgeted tax revenues in the general fund for fiscal year 2016-17 by type, which includes ad valorem taxes, or property taxes, sales taxes, DMV tax collections, motor vehicle taxes, and more. We now have the answer to our question. Sales tax revenues are budgeted at $17.6 million for fiscal year 2016-17 and comprise 33% of the general fund budgeted revenues. Remember, at any time while using the transparency platform, if you need assistance, you have the following options. Click on the Help and select How To, the Welcome screen, or Multi-Fund Accounting 101. You may also click the Back button to return to the previous screen, or click the Reset button to start from the beginning. We hope that the information included in the city's transparency platform will provide you with a better understanding of the city's financial operations and how financial resources are being utilized to benefit the citizens of Greenville.